Hello. Thank you so much for stopping to see what I'm working on. And tonight I'm kind of excited about getting this thing going because I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I finally decided to quit trying to watch every video made on a soft cover journal and just try it. Just see what happens. So this is what I'm using. It is an Amazon envelope that I think we've all been ordering off of Amazon quite a bit since COVID. And this is what the inside of it looks like. It has got that powdery, fluffy stuff. And what I did first of all is I decided on the size that I was going to make it. And I cut my envelope down to that size. And then I went in here and I used a bone folder and I just scraped off quite a bit of this stuff, and if you rub on it, it comes off and makes it even smoother there. And this edge of the envelope here is the original packaging. That's how they had it put together. You can see like this strip here of where there's none of that soft stuff, and then the soft stuff starts here. So I thought I would kind of mimic that on the open end where I cut off. So like I said, I scraped all of that off of there, and then I did about the same width of, this is nothing but paper here, and then the fluffy stuff starts back here. And I did that. That was the first thing that I did. And then I decided how I was going to do this. I decided on a wraparound cover. These are my signatures. I've got 3 of them. I started out with 4, but 4 is just going to be too much. I don't have a lot of stuff in here. I've got a few things that I've done in recent videos, and I've added just a few things here and there, but not a lot. So most of these pages are actually just empty. Pull this one out. So that's what I'm working with, and I was trying to decide how thick that I needed the journal cover to be for these. This is partly why I decided to do a soft cover, because I know that there's going to be a lot of give as far as whenever I get all of the embellishments in these pages. I know this thing is going to get bigger. I know it is. So I wanted something that would be able to expand with the growth of the journal. So I decided on the width by putting these 3 together, and then I just put my fingers in between them, and I kind of measured from the end of one signature to the end of the other signature, the end signature, and I came up with 3.5 inches. I thought that would be enough room for it to expand. It's actually going to be pretty full, even without any kind of ephemera in it yet. So 3.5 inches is what I decided I was going to give myself for the signatures. I marked that here because, get these back down here, what I'm going to do, I'll have my signatures there, and then this is going to fold over like this and then fold to the back. And on the back of it, that's where I want to have a tie closure. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be a pretty wide one. So that's the design I've come up with. And then I had to figure out exactly how to make it so that I did the steps in order so that I wouldn't have to tear anything apart and redo it, or I thought and thought and thought about this silly journal. Like I said, I finally had to just decide to do it and quit thinking about it. So this is going to be the outside cover of it, where I've got the marks here and here for the signatures. I have got this marked as the area that the front of the journal is going to be found, and then this will be what folds over the back of it. So the first thing I did, I have this old tablecloth, and I found this at Goodwill. I'm going to put it up here, see if you can see the material that it is. It's a really pretty woven material. I don't know what you call this. It tears real easy and pretty. Look at the edges on that. The torn edges are so pretty. So I measured my journal cover, the Amazon packaging, and it came up to 27.5 by 13 7/8. So I cut my two covers. I've got an inside and an outside cover, and I cut them so that I have, you can see here, and I'll put a picture down here showing how much room that I'm gonna have on the edges here. Comes up to about like that. That's going to be the edges. I'm going to do the, like I said, the ribbon tie, or the closure is going to be some more of this, and I'm going to take these two pieces and I'm going to actually sew them to this side of the journal cover, and I'm going to just run a straight stitch and sew them here. I'm going to pull them out to the edges. I'm going to either sew or glue here and here, so that that ribbon, or that, I keep calling it a ribbon, that strip of material that I'm going to use to close it is going to run along the outside of the cover, and it's going to stay flat. I don't want it where it's going to bunch up or anything. So I've kind of got that laid down here. It's hard to see, but I'm going to have this, like I said, attached to the envelope, and then I'm going to put the Amazon packaging down, and then I'm going to put my outer cover on here, and I'm going to line them up, and I'm just going to do a zigzag stitch all the way around the outside of this so that the edges stay raw. And then I think where those signatures are going to be, that 3.5 inch area where the signatures are going to be, I'm thinking I may just run a straight stitch down through here to just kind of stabilize it a little bit more so that the cloth isn't moving around. And whenever I go to poke holes in it to put the signatures on, I think if I have that stitch down here, I think it's going to help me be able to keep it from shifting too much, if that makes sense. I have a hard time saying what I've got envisioned in my mind. On the outside of the journal, I am going to do some kind of lace or something. I haven't completely worked that out. I have an idea. I started out with this lace, and I'm not sure that I like it. It's very bright white, and I may go with a different lace and maybe some netting under it. I'm not sure about that, but I do have, let me get this, I do have this stuff I've had, oh goodness, it's probably been, I don't know, maybe 10 years, maybe even a little bit more. It's a twill material. Whoops. There, I'll show you a little bit of that. It's a twill material that is backed on with sticker. It's got sticky back. I run this through my printer. I found a photo off of, oh gosh, I'll have to think about it. I'll link it below, but I found a website that I could get some royalty-free images, and I printed it on this twill paper. Oh my gosh, it turned out so pretty. I'll show you that in the next section of this video. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and work on the stitching of what I just talked about, and I will catch you in just a few minutes. Well, a few minutes for you. It's going to take me a little longer to stitch. I wanted to show you what I have got, and one big error that I made that I'm going to have to figure out how to fix. So I've got the covers sewn on that. This is the inside cover. And I went ahead and stitched, like I said, down these sides. I did widen this to 4 inches. I had it at 3.5. But I'm just worried I'm not going to have enough room for everything I want to put in this. So I widened it to 4. And I went ahead and sewed down here and down on this end, so that whenever I fold it, it would actually, the paper would give more. That Amazon packaging would give more. So I did the backs, or the outer side, the outside cover. And this is what I decided to do. It is, I've got a layer of lace on there. There's a layer of that netting. And then under that is a layer of this gauzy material that I have. So I put that on there. I've got my ties here and here, and I stitched all the way around it. And then I went to try out the signatures in it. I've just got one here, but that's for demonstration. That'll work. It's quite a bit larger than it had to be. I mean, I could have come down a good 2.5 or 3 inches, but that's okay. I'm not gonna stress over that. So here are where my signatures would go. And my idea was that I would put this piece in, and then I would wrap this one around and tie it in the back. And you probably just saw where the mistake is. Excuse me. Because this string here has no place to go. It can't wrap around because it's going to be stuck inside the book. So I made this mark, and I was going to do like a buttonhole, a really big buttonhole that I could slide this through. And I thought, well, I don't want to have to pull this thing out and put it back in every time I open the book up. So now my thought is to take this off and then attach it through a buttonhole on this side, on the outside. So this is not completely glued down, so I would right here make my buttonhole. No, I won't. Now, here I'm going to attach the strap that I cut off. I'm going to attach it here, and then I'm going to make a buttonhole here that it can come through and stay on the outside of the journal. So I think that might be a good fix for it. And while I was putting it together, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have 3 signatures in it, but I've got all of this space. I knew I wanted to put like a pocket here and a pocket here. And then I thought, well, I might as well put a pocket here too. So I decided that I would make a few pockets. And this is what I did. I used some of that tablecloth material, and I just zigzag stitched around it, but I backed it on a piece of ivory colored cardstock. So now whenever I go to attach it in the book, I'm just going to use probably the fabric tack. What I meant to do was sew it into here before I stitched all the way around, but I forgot. So I'm going to wind up with a large pocket here and one here, and then pull this down a little bit, and then I will do 3 pockets here like that. So I'm going to work on getting my strap moved and getting these pockets put in, and then the decorations on the front is going to be the next thing after that. So, oh, and I remembered where I found my picture. This is the picture I printed on that sticky back twill material, but I thought that is just gorgeous, and I think it's going to be really pretty on here. I am going to back it with something. I may use some more of this material to back it, but anyway, that is as far as I've gotten, and it took me probably fixing all the mistakes, because I had to rip completely out on this side from here to here and then back to there, because my material had puckered, and I was thinking that whenever I sewed these lines in, that it would help keep that puckering from happening, but it didn't on this end. So anyway, took several hours to get all this much done, and hopefully from here on out it's going to be smoother sailing. I am back from the sewing machine, and here is what I ended up doing. So let me think. This is the front of the journal. Got stuff everywhere. This is the front of the journal, and what I ended up doing, this strap was fine, and you know I had sewed the other strap here and it wasn't working because I had no way to get it through there without making a huge buttonhole. So what I decided to do is put it, let's see, let me get this folded just right. Put this strap over here. So now I have them here and here. This will be my download from the Digital Collage Club. And then when you turn it over, try to do it without hitting the camera, this is where you will close it. You're going to tie it. You're going to. I'm going to tie it back here. I know I've got way too much of this material, but I can always cut that off. That's not a big deal. I did end up stitching, get this undone so you can see it, doing a zigzag stitch on the edges of the tie. It's not neat or clean or anything like that. It's pretty rough sewn, but that's okay because the journal's kind of rough edged. So, but I wound up doing that so the material would not fray anymore. And now I'm going to work on the front cover. Get this right. The front cover. So it is from this strap to here, because this part is going to wrap around the back side of the journal. Ideally. I don't know if this is going to turn out exactly how I want it to, but this is what I wanted. So I've got my picture that's on that sticker back twill material. I just love this. I think it turned out so pretty. And the backing paper that's on here, made it perfect to go through my printer without any issues at all. It was like I was sending through a piece of plain copy paper. So I've got that, and I found some of this burlap that's in a roll. The two edges are finished, but where I cut it obviously is not finished. So what I did is I put it on my machine, and I did a really short zigzag stitch, and I didn't realize I had a green bobbin in there until it was too late, but I think that's fine. It's not gonna hurt a thing. So I finished the edges of this, and then my thoughts are to have this behind my picture. And then I also did just a same piece of this tablecloth that I have. So I'm thinking I'm going to line it all up. This burlap loses its shape pretty easily, so I thought I would do this on there, and then my picture on there like that. I think I've got a shadow. I don't know if that's helping or not. Maybe if I move the camera down. There we go. So that is what I'm wanting to put on here. Now my only thing is, how do I put it on there? Because the paper has to come off of this, and it is sticky backed. So I'm thinking of hot gluing that onto the burlap, and then I could hot glue the burlap onto the tablecloth. And that's where I'm kind of at a loss of what to do next, because I don't want to hot glue the whole thing down on the cover, because that's gonna glob it up a little bit. Of course, it's not really gonna matter because I have that packaging sandwiched in there, so it's not gonna show on the inside. Okay. Not sure. What I do know is how to put these three pieces together. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. All right, I got my glue gun ready. Got an extra glue stick. So let me put down something that I can work on. Okay, I think the first thing I'm going to do is put my image on this first. And that means I've got to take off this backing paper. Oh, that's easy. I was afraid that would be a little difficult, but that was easy. And the only reason why I'm putting glue on here is because I don't know how well this stuff is going to stick after as many years as I've had it. Literally, it's been at least 10, I know. So in order to make sure that it sticks well, I think I'm going to use this. And now I'm going to switch my paper real quick. Because that hot glue is going to get stuck on here, and I don't want to do that. So I'll use this. This is it is a grilling mat. You know, the kind that you would put on a grill, an outdoor grill, and put your food on it. And I've used this thing, oh man, probably 3 years I've been using this thing for everything. And it cleans up so nice. It does stain. I mean, there's a few stains on it from alcohol inks or whatever, but that's not a big deal. It cleans up good, so I think it's going to be easier to take any leftover glue off of. Okay, how am I going to do this? Do I want to put the glue on the material? Okay, we're just going to start with that. I'm going to make sure that this is good and straight. Okay. Oh, goodness. Wouldn't you know it? It's not going to cooperate with me. I'm not going to put a lot of glue on it to get it started. Oh, goodness. I'm not at a good angle to do that. I think I'm going to have to stand up. Sorry about the squeaky chair. Okay. So I think that's gonna work good. I wonder, since I'm going to hot glue this onto here, I wonder if I couldn't just put the glue here and catch that image. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, got a plan. Now I just got to work that plan. On here. Okay. That looks pretty even to me. And I feel like it's stuck well enough. Okay. Now, let me unplug my glue gun and get my cover back down here. I think I have made a ridiculous decision that I'm probably going to regret, but I feel like I have to. This journal cover is so daggum tall, and my pages are only like this. I do not need all of this room. I absolutely don't. There's no way to get these signatures to fit. I mean, whoops, there went half of the stuff on my desk. You can't, maybe there you can get a better idea of the size of this thing. There we go. It is so big compared to what I have to put in it. So it pains me to think about this, but I believe that I'm going to undo all of the top stitching here. Undo all of that. I'm going to cut it down and then I'm going to stitch it back up, which means that my lace is going to be a little like this, so that, can't see it. See, that's the thing, you can't even get it all in the frame. So if I cut it down to about here, then let's do it this way, cut it down to about there, then the lace is going to be not centered any longer, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. I can just put my image down this way. Yeah, it's going to have to be like that because this is just ridiculously big. So I'm probably going to be spending the next 3 or 4 hours undoing what I've done. I will get back to you and show you what the smaller version looks like. I'm tempted almost to start all over. And like I said in the beginning, it's just the Amazon envelope. It's an old dishcloth. I don't know if I have enough of this to redo this. Okay. I am going to just do it all over again and make it a more workable size, because this thing is just big. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's just too big. And I kind of had an idea when I finished sewing all this. I kind of wished that I had used a colored thread on the zigzag. Now that's an opportunity for me to do that. So I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna use the same process that I just did, so I'm not gonna repeat any of that, but I'll come back and I will show you what the smaller version and the more practical version looks like. Wish me luck. And I changed my mind all over again. I got in the other room and I was gonna completely remake the whole thing, and I decided that was just silly because I had all this done and all I needed was to cut down like an 1.5 inches off of the top and off of the bottom. So that's what I did. I took my seams from here, 1.5 inches here, up all the way across and down, took it all apart, pulled my material, I tore it again, cut my packaging down, and I did the same thing at the bottom. Took those stitches out and then I just re-stitched the whole thing. And that, honestly, I'm glad I did that, because that was going to be a lot less trouble than redoing the entire thing and then winding up with 2 journal covers that were very similar but having one that was huge. So here's how this one looks now. I've got my 4-inch span here and here for the signatures. I went ahead and put, did I? No, I thought I did. I'll show you what I did. This is the 4th signature I was going to use, but decided not to because it was going to be too big. I'm just going to add it for right now to give you more of an idea of what it will look like whenever all of the ephemera's in it and it's thicker. So it's going to go like this. Well, I'll have these there. This piece will wrap this way. This piece wraps this way. And then like that. And then on the back is where the ties are. And like I said, these ties are way too big for this journal, but for right now I'm just gonna leave them like that, and then this will go on the front. So right now I am going to have to cut this off because my video is getting way too long. So I'm going to cut this off, and then I will come back with part 2 showing you the pockets. And I guess I'd see, I'm so indecisive on this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and sew in the signatures or if I'm gonna try to leave them loose a little bit longer. I like working on them when they're loose, but I may need to sew these in, so we'll see. But part 2 coming up.